Hello, Libra. Thank you so much for being here, you guys, and my apologies for being late. And please forgive my voice. I haven't been feeling the greatest, but thank you so much, you guys, for being here. I really do appreciate it. All right, Libra, painting the roses red, covering up errors, and then you have observer. Let's talk about painting the roses red first. This one is talking about being in a relationship or working for someone who is harsh on any mistakes that you make. It actually talks about feeling like you need to cover up your mistakes or your errors because the punishment is worse than the actual mistake. Now with observer, the first thing that I want to say here is if Libra, you're feeling like you need to constantly cover up things that are flaws in you, then you need to take a huge step back here and look at why you're even doing this. Now, on the other hand, though, for some of you, it could be, because I kind of get this feeling a little bit that some of you have been lax, like letting someone get away with some mistakes, right? And like letting someone cover up what they're doing or like making it sound like it's not as bad as you think. Because observer is saying that there has to be a huge step back here in order for you to get the full picture on what's going on. Here's your overall. The King of Coins or the King of Pentacles. Okay. So for some of you, we could be talking about a person that you are focused on, right? Male, female, earth sign. You guys know how that goes. But we're also talking about success, material gain, being realistic and practical with the King of Pentacles. We could be talking about, whether or not somebody can be dependable. We could be looking at a provider here. Some of you may be that provider, but we'll see what's going on here because I have issues with him. If you've seen any of the recent Scorpio readings, you would know what I'm talking about, but we'll see. Now, in the past, the Hermit. So if we are talking about a person that you are focused on right now, the Hermit may be saying that there has been a time in the past where you've been like, I don't want to say pushing this person away, but needing some time alone to kind of like think about things, right? But what's interesting is you still have observer coming through saying that you need to take a huge step back. Maybe for some of you, you feel like, you're kind of like on your own doing things here where somebody else should be helping you. And I say that because of the King of Pentacles being there. But being in hermit mode, right? Doing the deep soul searching here, trying to figure out, what do you really want to do here? And not only that, but I look at him being a 9 and think you're looking at everything up to this point before we reach a completion. So it's funny because with painting the roses red, I kind of feel like this is, a crucial moment where when you come out of hermit mode, it's either, this person is okay or it's off with their head, right? But we'll see here. Oh, yeah. Okay. In the present moment, the 5 of Cups. Now, again, if you feel like you're doing things on your own, you're not happy about it. The 5 of Cups would be being let down, being disappointed, being hurt that, someone is being selfish, isn't doing what's necessary to help you out or provide what they're supposed to. For some of you, there's disappointment right now, but, I don't want to judge as King of Coins just yet. I do think that this is external for a lot of Librans. But I also feel like for those of you who are focused on your career right now, it's like nothing seems to be good enough, but the thing is we may still be looking at you being more successful than what you may feel like you are right now. I'm trying not to judge him. Really, I'm not. He, she, whatever here. Okay. Future conditions of 4 of Swords. So hermit mode wasn't enough. Some of you are like needing to take a break. Now, on the other hand, though, some of you are not wanting to deal with any confrontation. It's like, I'm hurt, I'm upset, but I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk about things right now. I just want to keep the peace, But the Four of Swords could be talking about recovery, though, too, right? But I don't know. I kind of get the feeling with the Five of Cups that this is, I just don't have anything left to say. But this is something that you have been, like, considering for a while with the Hermit, especially if you felt like you were on your own in a relationship, whether it's, romantic or business here. But yeah, I don't like the Five of Cups. But I'm looking at this as what this person may have done to cause this. Your best path to follow, the Two of Coins. Okay, so now let's talk about this. If you are dealing with, like, and I'm going to look at him from the negative perspective and get it out of the way here. Okay, so if some of you have been dealing with a freeloader, this is, we need to figure some things out here and manage the situation, because this is not something that you should continue to keep in play in your life right now, especially if you're looking at being disappointed. This isn't a situation that you can avoid anymore. There needs to be a discussion. But I think that some of you just don't want to deal with it right now. And that's fine, right? That's understandable. But it's also showing that you may need a break from this person. Now, for some of you, if you're unhappy with work right now, you need to take a break. And it looks like you're going to with the Four of Swords. But we need to figure some things out with the Two of Coins, right? Now, I'm having a hard time, like, seeing him as a good thing, him or her, right? Like, but the Two of Coins sometimes can suggest that we've been a little bit too flexible. You know what I mean? Like, bending over backwards for somebody. But are they just, being selfish, right? Like, it brings, for me, I'm looking at this and it brings up the image of the King of Pentacles in, like, the Everyday Witch Tarot, where he's literally holding a whole fucking cake and he already had a piece of it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they think that they can get and have anything that they want from you, but you're not happy. But yeah, we need to figure this out. You're going to have to look at this situation and make a choice, definitely with the two showing up. But with the Two of Coins, we're continuing to keep something in play. But why? What is this person actually providing for you? Are they dependable? Or do they only think about themselves? For career, for some of you, if you're doing two jobs right now, you need to quit one. And that's the best way for me to put it. Because with the Five of Cups, no, nobody should be unhappy like that. In your environment, temperance, and this is what I'm talking about, okay? And this seems to be an issue here lately. Temperance. Now, this is about needing balance. It's moderation, right? Equilibrium. Not being too emotional, not being too passionate, having a nice balance. But with the Five of Cups, that's complacency. I'm telling you, you don't have inner balance and harmony when you're emotionally blah and hurting, Now, I think that if this is about somebody that you're currently dealing with, and this could be anybody, it doesn't have to be somebody that you're romantically involved with. It could be, a kid that's acting like this. But normally the kings are going to show, somebody who's older, or at least should know fucking better. It could be a family member. It could be somebody that you have to work with, right? But this to me looks like somebody who should be providing something and they're not. And with temperance, they may not have the ability to control themselves. When it comes to certain things, they don't understand what moderation is, especially with the King of Pentacles being there, but you're the one that's suffering over this. Now, like, let's say, for instance, that, this is a female that you're dealing with. They have no sense of control when it comes to spending money, I mean, it just depends on what your situation is here, but this looks like somebody that you don't want to have confrontation with. You may have been ignoring some things here seriously. And I think that what's upsetting you is that they have no sense of self-control. They are out of balance. And they need a reality check from you. But you don't want to deal with it. And I can understand that. But why do you keep this person around then? You know? But that's just me. Your hopes and your fears, the high priestess, I don't like that at all. I do not like that at all, because that to me is saying that you've been observing this situation for a while, but you're refusing to see what's going on. Now, on the other hand, with the high priestess, we could be talking about you fearing some things that you don't know. And that's why, you're kind of like watching the situation here. And for some of you, let's say, for instance, that, because I get the feeling that, and this is only going to be for a few of you, you may be waiting for something to come out to use it as like evidence almost. To say, okay, now I've had enough, right? Like you're watching and waiting and expecting the worst to happen here because you're not happy with the Five of Cups. But the thing is you shouldn't have to wait for them to do something stupid. If they're already making you unhappy, you should just, be in this place where it's like, I'm not playing these games anymore, right? The Queen of Swords, Libra, But this may be fearing some things that you don't know for sure with the High Priestess. But the other part of that, though, is I think that you've been too complacent. You've been way too complacent. And it's funny because you have the Hermit, you have the High Priestess, but you're still being told that you need to take a huge step back to look at this situation. Oh, Libra. All right. Now, this may be where the break is coming in, but the thing is we're not talking about anything. Now, you may have been really disappointed and let down by a person and they're not communicating with you. For some of you, just straight up, that's what it is. And with the Two of Pentacles, it's like, why are you continuing to keep this going? You may be fearing some things that you don't know about here. And with the Three of Swords coming out, yeah, we are talking about heartbreak. With Temperance and the Five of Cups, it's like, you're trying to find some balance here. But if we can forgive and get past, then yeah, there is an opportunity for a new beginning with the Ace of Cups. For some of you, it's not until you separate yourself from this that you're going to have the emotional fulfillment, or at least have an opportunity for that. So this could be separate for some of you, and it is something coming that's like good out of a really difficult situation here, and it may require a breakup for some of you, or a separation when it comes to, somebody that you may be working with, or just your job period. I'm trying to keep these general, but I swear to God, they're getting very specific this week. The Ten of Wands and the Hermit. You've been very silently taking on a lot, okay? Doing things on your own, carrying the weight of all the responsibilities, and yet you have the King of Coins sitting right there. This person could get off their ass and start doing something, but they choose not to, and they have no moderation at all. With the Five of Cups, there's no way. There's no way. This is somebody that doesn't understand the value of money. Now, looking at the Moon and the Five of Cups, this is like not facing the reality of the situation, which again is why there's this need to take a huge step back, Libra, and really look at this situation for what it really is. Now, on the other hand, this may be that, this person has been going, look, I want you to see this about me, but not the truth, right? And it may be a really disappointing reality here, but there is also confusion when it comes to, what may be going on in terms of a relationship or a career, right? Like I'm still trying to stay general here, but I think it's really specific for somebody. But I don't like the Moon because we're not facing the reality of what's going on. And somebody is being very confusing. All the while, you're the one dealing with emotional pain in the present moment. But being too complacent, complacency, that's the word that needs to be put right here. But like I said, with the Ace of Cups, we can restart this if you want to. But, on top of heartbreak, I think that this is a situation that you need to separate from no matter what it is or who it is. And if we're not talking anymore, then there's no point in continuing to keep this in play. right? Stop being flexible. Don't do that. Don't bend over backwards for somebody who wouldn't do it for you. And if they break your heart coming out, you still have the Ace of Cups coming through. So I don't see it as a wasted opportunity with what you're already dealing with. I see this as something that's blocking you from having that. And intuition and paying attention to what your intuition is telling you. Some of you may be ignoring it with the High Priestess. But I also think that that's something very specific, though, where some of you may be like looking for, you know, something really bad to show up so that you can like sever ties, because you may feel like you don't have a reason to do it right now, you know. But looking at the crown chakra, this is you being open to divine inspiration. That divine inspiration and being connected to source here is going to help you bounce back from this situation with resilience. But you have to pay attention to what your intuition is telling you, right? Your intuition here is going to guide you into a place where, you know, we're going to be able to recover from being involved with this person, from like having to leave this career path or this job, whatever. Because unhappiness, you know, it's never a permanent thing with the Five of Cups, but it's not fucking easy to deal with though either. And nobody should be in this place where they're completely out of whack and unbalanced because of another person's inability to control themselves. You know, that's kind of what I feel like here. And new love, I'm telling you, embrace this new opportunity of love that is here. This may pertain to work opportunities or spiritual growth. There you go, Libra. This could be for one of you or some of you who are asking yourselves the question, should I really end this situation? You know, and I hope that this answers that for you, because there's something better. There is something better, right? And you're going to look back at all this crap and you're going to go, you know, I'm kind of glad I went through that. I learned a lot and it brought me to this. And it's so much better than what I was going through before, right? And I look back at that 10 of Wands and think, just drop it. Just fucking drop it. You know, same thing with the 2 of Coins. Drop it. Quit being flexible. Quit bending over backwards. You know, if somebody isn't willing to communicate with you, don't continue to do this. It may really suck, but you're blocking yourself from something better, because there is a new opportunity. I'm telling you, that Ace of Cups is separate from this. It's not about restarting none of this crap. But damn, Libra. And like I said before, looking back at the Oracle cards, I think that some of you have just been like too laid back. Too laid back. And you may get pushed to the breaking point, right? But you can't avoid confrontation though either. And that's only going to be for some of you. But embrace this new love that is coming to you.